You can reduce your sugar intake and your glycemic load with my thick and creamy homemade caramel sauce. In less than 30 minutes, you can make naturally sweetened maple syrup caramel. All you need is a saucepan, a candy thermometer, and a few clean, simple ingredients, including maple syrup, butter, heavy cream, tapioca flour, vanilla extract, and salt. Compared to traditional caramel, my recipe has 30% fewer grams of sugar and about a 30% lower score on the glycemic index. You can store this healthier caramel in the fridge and enjoy it in moderation on ice cream, fruit, muffins, etc., etc., etc. To begin, you'll want to use a thick bottom saucepan, and that's going to help keep your caramel from burning. So we're just going to add 1 cup of pure maple syrup to a saucepan, and I've already brought it to a medium heat. And then we'll give it a quick stir, and then we wait until it comes to a low boil. Now, to get a nice creamy caramel, we want to heat our maple syrup to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. And the easiest way to gauge this is using a simple candy thermometer. These are very inexpensive and available at your local grocery store. And then it has this little clip on the side, which allows us to clip it just inside our pan. We want to lower the very tip of the thermometer so that it is submerged in the syrup, but not touching the bottom of the pan. And then you'll want to stir your syrup about every minute or so. And now we patiently wait until the temperature reaches 225 degrees. And this can take anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes. But then come back about every minute or so and just give it a quick stir. And now I have the temperature turned down just right so that the syrup isn't bubbling up in the pan, but still has a nice low rolling simmer. Now you can use the time while your syrup is simmering to make sure your other ingredients are measured out and ready to go. So you'll need ½ cup of butter, and then we'll want to have 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream, 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour, which is going to help thicken our sauce. And then we'll want 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then a few dashes or 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. Well, our temperature is up to about 215 degrees, so we'll just patiently wait till it reaches 225. Well, it's been about 18 minutes and we have finally reached 225 degrees. Now, as you're boiling it, if you find that it starts to foam up and it might be in danger of overflowing your pan, just lift your pan up off the heat for a few seconds and then that boil will start to reduce. But now that we've reached 225 degrees, we can go ahead and remove our thermometer. And then I'm going to very gently just add in our tapioca starch as well as our butter. And give those a good whisk. Then I'll slowly pour in our cream and our teaspoon of vanilla and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And then I'll just continue to whisk until the tapioca flour is completely dissolved. Now you could dissolve your tapioca flour in a little bit of water before pouring it into your sauce, but I have found it really isn't necessary because the tapioca flour dissolves on its own, and then I don't have additional water in my sauce that I have to cook off. So in less than a minute, all of our tapioca flour is dissolved. To activate that tapioca flour and allow it to thicken our sauce, I'm going to turn up the heat slightly and then we'll bring it to a really low simmer and then let that simmer for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then you'll want to stir it about every 30 seconds or so just to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. Well, this has been simmering for 4 minutes, so now our maple caramel sauce is done. Now you want to let your sauce cool for just a couple of minutes so that it's no longer boiling, and then you can transfer it into a heat-proof dish. Man, that smells so good. Then you'll want to let this sit on your counter and cool for about an hour, and it's going to thicken as it cools. I have a batch here that I made earlier this morning, and it's now at room temperature, and you can see how thick and creamy and gorgeous this sauce is. I love that when you scoop it, it pours in this beautiful ribbon. And now you can transfer your caramel to a jar and store it in your fridge, and then you can enjoy it cold, or you can take it out and warm it up in either your microwave or over the stove if you'd like to serve it warm. And one of my favorite ways to enjoy my caramel sauce is just with some apples. That is delicious. That is thick and creamy and everything you want in a caramel sauce. And I love knowing that it's made with clean, simple ingredients without any corn syrup or processed white sugar or any other artificial ingredients. Now, of course, it is a sweet and definitely has to be enjoyed in moderation. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen to make this sauce, and I've included a link in the video description below to the full recipe, and it's on my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who you think would love a yummy caramel sauce, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you hang out with me in my kitchen again.